Please welcome Ben Green back to the podcast, Full Throttle with me, Dervish. Ben, how you doing? What's been up to since we last spoke?
Well, it's been a weird one, obviously, with the lockdown, hasn't it? Not been a lot going on in the racing world for me, anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I have been using my simulator a lot, which I think we touched on last time about the online sim racing.
Yeah.
So I've been doing lots of that, and just training, getting ready for this season, really. The season hopefully is going to start more towards the middle of the year, I think, with hopefully COVID permitting.
Okay.
And that's the current plan for me. Hopefully to be back out in Germany.
Yeah. So is that the GT series? What is that?
The DTM Trophy GT4 series. Yeah, that's what I would like to go and do again. No contracts have been signed, nothing's been agreed yet, but that's the plan. Yeah.
Okay, and is that driving the BMW M6? Is it GT
M4 like last year? Yeah, M4 GT4. Yeah.
M4 GT4. Ah, nice. So once you get in the car, obviously you haven't had a lot of road usage with it, mileage with it, have you, since the last time we spoke? So
nothing at all. Yeah.
So will you adjust? Will you kind of, or because you don't get out to practice, do you?
I'm at an experience level now where I can kind of jump in a car and get on it straight away. I mean, so I raced the M4 in 2018. I then raced the M6 in 2019, went back to the M4 in 2020. I hadn't driven the M4 in over a year when I started it in 2020. Yeah. And the first race weekend, I won the race. The only race I won actually the whole year. So
really?
And
what's better, M4 or the M6?
It's the obvious answer is the M6, of course. It's got 120 more horsepower. It's a lighter car. It's more advanced. But it's an interesting question. The M4 is probably a more successful car in its own right, if you know what I mean. For what it's designed to do. The M6 was a bit big. It's a bit long. It's a bit clunky. And the M4 was a better frame for the GT4 class than the M6 was for the GT3 class. But of course, would I drive a 550 horsepower car or a 420 horsepower car? You know what I'd rather choose, as everyone would. Everyone wants to go fast. So, it's a tricky question, that.
Yeah. So talking about 400 horsepower cars and all that, right? So you've just bought a Camaro Ss, is it?
I have indeed, yeah.
What model have you got?
In August last year, I got that. I've kept it quite under wraps because I imported it from America and I've been tinkering with it, just getting it running nicely, getting it registered. It's a lovely 1968 Chevrolet Camaro Ss, 5.7 litre V8. Cool car, really cool car.
What horsepower are you running on that then?
I haven't got a clue, to be honest. It's not a car I'll ever drive fast, that's for sure. It's a thing of beauty, these American cars. I love them, and it's something just to kind of enjoy, And I think when they were brought out, that 5.7 litre engine was about 290, 300 horsepower, something like that around there. So I imagine it's probably 250, 260, something like that. But
so it's stock.
It's quick enough to drive. Yeah, it's completely stock, completely standard. All in really good condition as well. Really nice condition. So a good little investment to sit on and something to enjoy as well.
So did you go out to States to see it, or you just bought it on the internet?
No, actually, I got it over the internet. So it was a very daunting task, actually. So a friend of mine had actually brought a DeLorean in the UK from America, and he used a company called Lemon Squads. And like the name suggests, they check if your car is a lemon or not, if it's any good, and send a mechanic out there. I took 150 photos of the car, took it for a road test, checked underneath. So I had more information than I'd even be able to find myself if I went over there to check it myself,
Okay.
I'm not a qualified mechanic, so the fact I was paying someone to go and do a qualified mechanic's job, I felt pretty confident in it. And the car was great. All the checks came back really good, so I was happy with that. And then it was the small matter of sending over the money to just a random guy in the middle of America, which was very, very nerve-wracking. But then, I got the call saying, got the money, car's going on transport tomorrow, and then, it was on its way.
So how much did that cost you to do the checks and all that then? Or did they get someone in the States to do it? Or how did that work?
Lemon Squad is a service, it's like a couple hundred quid, I think about 200 quid, 250 quid. But for me, I'd done enough research into it. I knew exactly what I wanted. This was a really nice spec car. It's a manual as well, 4-speed, which again is a little bit rarer, a little more desirable as well. It looked in great condition all over anyway. and I thought, you know what, if we find something that's terrible on the car, then I'm glad we did, you know. And it was money well spent, to be honest. So because I couldn't see anything wrong with it in all the photos he was sending me, and all the numbers all match up. You know, it was a good investment. So yeah, it's a couple £100, and then shipping, got all that sorted, and then yeah, it was over here.
Yeah. So when you look at cars, what do you look for? Matching numbers, obviously, is
yeah.
important.
So with especially in America, where it's very easy to swap stuff out because they're relatively simple old cars, you want to make sure it's got the original engine in it. That's the key thing for because for me, as a guy that likes driving cars, I sat there and I thought, you know, what do I want to do? I want to get a car. I want to get a nice car. You know, I'm driving around in a 5 Series estate day to day, or actually I've got an 8 Series from Stephen James BMW.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
So yeah, I've got a nice car, but I thought, you know, I want to get something a bit more me rather than what I'm doing for work. So I thought, well, what can I do? Could I get an M2 or I could get an M4, which are really cool cars, and I've done a lot of driving in them anyway. But you know, everyone's got an M2, everyone's got an M4. You know, generally speaking, it's quite a common car. I thought, well, what can I invest my money into that's going to actually probably give me some form of a profit anyway at the end? At least it's not going to be negative anyway in a car like that. And I can enjoy as well. You know, I like tinkering cars. I like working on them. So yeah, I'll be tinkering on it and keeping it running sweet and enjoying it.
Yeah. So she doesn't need anything doing to her then? Nothing.
Well, there's little bits and bobs. Yeah, of course there always is in those cars. I mean, one of the biggest problems the guy said was the fuel gauge didn't work. He just said it just doesn't work. So I've tried so many things, can't get it to work. And we got the car, and then once it was parked up, we actually had some time to work on it. I think within about a day or two of looking at the car and trying to work out what was wrong with it, we'd fixed it. So
really,
all it was the fuel sending unit. Obviously, those cars are relatively old, so in the fuel tank there's a float that floats up and down, and that sends a message to the fuel gauge of how much fuel's in the car.
Yes.
And it was sending a message that it was over full, which obviously is impossible.
Yes.
So what it was reading is basically the ground on the chassis wasn't good. It was corroded, and it wasn't a good connection. So he filed it down, got it nice and clean, and then suddenly it started working properly. And then we replaced it anyway while the fuel tank was out. Put a new one in. I think it was £30 from some guy up north actually that brought the wrong one. So I got one £30 off eBay. New filters, new fuel sending unit. Job done.
Job done, isn't it? That's it. So have you driven it much then, or?
So yeah, where I'm moving house, obviously I've had to transport it over to there. We're moving house in the next couple of days anyway. And that was the longest trip I've done. That was about half an hour. That was nerve-wracking all the way. So there's it will need little bits and bobs doing to it, but overall it's a really nice car underneath. Yeah, it's no rust on the chassis at all. There's like a smidge of rust on one bit of the back wheel arch, but it's like that big and about that wide. It's like nothing structural. It's just a little bit of metal.
Yeah, a little bit of bubbling, is it, or something like that?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's nothing serious. Also, like for me, I'm chuffed with it. You know, really, really happy. It'll be a nice little project to work on, and something obviously in the lockdown that's actually been quite fun to do is because I've had the car in the garden, so I can work on it and try and make things a little bit better. While I've not had any work, you know, it's been a quiet winter for me.
Because I was looking at American cars. I had a guy on a couple of weeks ago. The podcast is released this Monday, and it's called Fleming's Ultimate Garage in just outside Washington, DC. And this guy, if you have a look later on, have a look at Fleming's Ultimate Garage and look at his stock list of cars in his showroom. Amazing muscle cars. He's got the Camaro Ss. He's got the Chevrolet Pontiac. He's got the Pontiac cars. He's got all the Trans Ams and everything. And I spoke to him about these cars, and I just said to him, look, I would love an old Bronco. You know, the old. That's something I'm looking at buying at the moment. Is there clicking going on? Hang on.
I can't hear it.
Is that? Hang on. What's going on here? Hang on a minute, mate. No, it seems right. Something's clicking. something. A minute. Yeah, yeah, I'm talking with a company called Vintage. I think they're called Vintage Broncos at the moment.
Cool.
But they're around about $70,000, which for the exchange rate, it's not too bad, and that's why I'm attracted.
Exactly that, compared to the UK price as well, and what's happening.
Mm.
I found as well, actually, the reason I brought it in the lockdown last year is obviously for obvious reasons. People are trying to shift things. They're trying to shift cars, stuff that isn't essential and needed. They're trying to get rid of it, so it's a good time to buy one if you're going to buy one, definitely.
Yeah. I mean, a friend of mine buys and sells art, and he was saying that cars are a next best thing.
Mm-hmm.
Art's probably up there with investments at the moment. But then if you look at, I mean, wine's a good investment, but I don't know anything about wine, so I'm not. Yeah, so there's no point in me doing that. I know quite a bit about cars, so I'd like to invest in some cars. Yeah. So what's your plans with the Camaro then? What are you going to do with it? Just drive it, and that's what.
Just enjoy it, yeah. Like for me, again, as I said before, I've got my work car, which I'm doing more promotion in. I've got my car that I use. I used to use obviously all the time, the 5 Series, just for work, traveling around the country. But it'd be nice to have a bit of a weekend car, when I'm not working. Nice summer's day, just to pop out in it and enjoy myself. Just have a nice drive. That's the plan, really. It's just and the good thing with the car like that is, while you're owning it and sitting on it, it will be appreciating in value.
Yeah.
Maintain it as long as you do. But again, the reason I looked at the Camaro is it's the first gen Camaro. It's the first one they made, and they've already significantly increased in value. So they're about 20-25 grand out in America, but the second gens are only at 4 or 5. So you can see it's already appreciated a large amount. So I can't see it ever depreciating, really. So
no, I don't think it will. No, I don't think it. That was my question to you. Actually, I was going to ask you that. Like, why the Camaro? Why not something?
I mean, I've always loved American muscle cars since I was younger, and I quite like the kind of shark nose inside the grille at the front. It looks really cool. That was more on the 68 cars than any of the other ones as well. And 69, it's a much flatter front grille, which the 69 generally is a more desirable car because they're a little bit better built and stuff like that. But I prefer the front look of the 68 in the SS form rather than the RS as well. The RS has the closed headlights.
Yes.
Whereas mine are always open. Again, I prefer that look. I quite like that look. So it ticked all my boxes. Manuals all had to be a manual. So yeah, it's good.
Yeah. And are you a country lane man, or are you Kings Road, Chelsea, like me? Sit there.
Country lane. Yeah, I'm not bothered. I'm not bothered about being. I just want to enjoy driving the car. I mean, it's not a car that drive fast. Yeah. If the roads are quiet, it'd be even better. It's not the smallest of cars, that's for sure. So
because I kind of I liked when I had the old Mini, and I've still got it, but I'm restoring it at the moment. I haven't started restoring it. I started and then I stopped, and now I'm trying to get the workshop in order again so that I can strip it down and send the shell off to be blasted and painted and sent back to me.
Cool.
But I used to like driving down Kings Road, parking up. There was an Italian cafe, it's shut now, but there was an Italian cafe there. Yeah, having a little espresso. You sit down outside the shop, watch the world go by. Kings Road, loads of cars, loads of nice people walking around. Interesting, people wearing interesting clothes and stuff. And you just sit there. And if you've got a friend, who's into it, you sit there and chat for an hour. Just staring at the car. People take pictures of the car. They I don't know why the Mini is such a draw for people, tourists, and people like that. They want to take pictures with the car. I had a couple of girls who wanted to get in the car and take pictures on summer. But I like that. I like all that. But I also like a country drive as well, like country lanes. But there has to be not many cars out. So, yeah. So well, hopefully you can get out with that car and drive it a bit,
Yeah, it needs to work first, but I think by the time we can all get out and the weather's actually nice, well, obviously with the weather being so poor at the moment, I'm not too keen on taking it out anyway. I prefer to take it out when it's nice, bone dry and not salty as well. So yeah, when the weather comes around, I think it'll be tip top anyway.
Mm, mm. And are you working on that on your set by yourself, like?
No, I've got a few people that know what they're doing as well around me, but yeah, I've got a good little support network of people I can put on to try and help me do things.
Yeah.
But I mean, the area I'm moving to is over towards Moulded, which I'm not sure if you're aware of. It's like in Essex.
Yes.
But Moulded's a big place with classic cars. A lot of classic car restoration businesses there, and locally there are a lot of classic car owners there as well. So I think I'm going to the right neighbourhood for the car as well. So it's quite cool.
Yeah. Is there a classic Porsche dealers down there?
I've no idea personally. I haven't really been to the area much, but I just know that there's a lot of classic car enthusiasts and also shops as well.
Mm. Yeah. I've heard that before actually. I'll have to get up there and have a look around. I mean, have they got a high street down there?
You know more than me. I have no idea. I just know that there are a lot of shops around there for old cars. That's all I know. A friend of mine actually races classic cars in Goodwood. You know, Goodwood Festival Speed and the Revival and stuff like that.
Yeah.
He races a lot of classics like that, and his shop is down there. And he's just mentioned to me before there's loads of local people around there that just live and breathe classic cars. If you've got any issues with classic car, that's where to take it.
Yeah, we'll do, definitely. So, last time on the last podcast, we spoke about going for long drives. Sometimes I get achy legs, and you were talking about the seat design being moulded to you and all that. I just wanted to ask you what else you knew about this sort of thing, because I'm a bit of an entrepreneur sometimes, and I'm thinking, could we come up with a seat design service? So you buy an ordinary BMW, I turn up at your house, mould the seat to your bum and your legs, and then go away and get you a seat manufactured to fit you, for a price, obviously. But I mean, that sort of thing. Are you saying that if I was to get a seat moulded to myself, I would feel a lot better when I get out of the car at the other end of the journey?
I think I'm not sure quite what I mentioned last time. I think what I was talking about was making sure you've got good lumbar support and the angles are all right in the car, especially for long journeys. Like I noticed when I get in my dad's car, he's moved the seat all around different positions, and it's not comfortable at all. It's completely out. And he always complains of back pain. And whenever I adjust it back without telling him, he always gets out and he never says anything about back pain anymore. So I think a lot of it is seat position. But I mean, in terms of the molds, how we do it in the racing world is they kind of bring the only way of really describing it is a clear bag of ball, like you get bean bags. They've got like the polystyrene balls inside them, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Imagine a clear one of those. Yeah. And then what they do is they get me to they put it in the seat. So imagine this is the seat. I would then sit into it.
Yes.
And then shimmy it all around to get in the right position around me. I'd sit there and myself get a good feeling of what the seat feels like with the insert in it, and make sure it's tucked in all the right places around me, give me the right support I need. I would then get out. They would then take the whole thing out, flatten it all, put there's like a gel, it's a chemical that reacts with the balls inside. And then you have about 5 or 10 minutes to actually get back in, mold it all into exactly the same position again, which is why the memory of the driver is quite important. And then you have to stay there for about an hour while it sets.
You have to sit down for an hour.
You have to stay in the car. Yeah, I mean, some people some brands and manufacturers will make it take a lot longer than that. I've seen videos of drivers just asleep in the car because they've had to sit there for hours on end waiting for it to cure and dry. Because in racing world, especially with single seaters, the seat is incredibly important because it gives the driver the comfort they need to actually perform at a good level. But with the road car side of things, I think all you would be able to achieve is to give people much better lumbar support, which is specific to a lot of different people. But again, the problem would be if they move their seat, then the whole seat position is out, isn't it? Because you've made a mold for that seat in that current position. So I think it would be quite difficult because obviously in a race car, we have a seat, which is a shell. You can't adjust it. It's not got any like tilt on it or anything like that. So the seat is the seat, and you put a mould in it, and then the mould fits the seat. Nothing can change. Obviously, in a road car, things can adjust a little bit. So
Yeah. No, I was just thinking about the other day. I was thinking, I need a seat that's designed for me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I need to take it up a level. Like, all right, I'm driving a Mini, but I want to take it up to like a Bentley standard seat. You know, because I've sat in a Bentley and it's so comfortable. You get out the other side, and it's like, wow. I don't even feel like I've just gone across the road with the car. I've gone 50, 60 miles.
The seats we have in race cars wouldn't be described as comfortable. It's fitted. Wouldn't be comfy. They are. I say about these cast iron balls, but it's a solid seat. You know, it feels like a lump of plastic you're sitting on. But obviously, it fits to your body shape, so it's comfy in that respect. You're well supported. But no, it wouldn't be like sitting in the Bentley. That's for sure.
Yeah. But I suppose what you could do is you could then I could. I'm starting to give away the business here. I don't know what's going on here. Must be your negotiation skills, something. But I was thinking, like, in Turkey, there's a brand that I follow who makes seats for vans, like executive vans, and you know, you get these superstars and rock stars that go around this pimped up van with they've got like beds in them and internet and Wi-Fi and all that. I can't remember what they're called, but there's a specific name for these vans. Most of them are Mercedes vans, and they just rip out the interior and just start putting in all these little gadgets and bits and pieces, so that when the rock star's on the road, he feels like he's in his office / home, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I've seen them before. Yeah.
So a lot of these vans are done in Turkey. The actual leather interior and stuff's done. So I was thinking, get it moulded here, because I know some moulders that can do it. I know people that can make moulds, because that's my kind of roundabout my business, what I do. And then send it to Turkey, and because I speak Turkish, I can probably get somebody to put the leather around it and all the foam and all that, and send it back. I was thinking that might be a good idea, but it's a little bit complicated. But I might do it just for myself, just to see how it goes. Once I've got the workshop downstairs, I might even do it myself, the mould, because I don't think it's that hard, to be honest. Interesting. Okay. What else was I going to ask you? Right. So at the moment, what have you got? An 8 Series?
Yeah, well, actually, so I was with Steve James yesterday. They've taken back the original 8 Series I had and given me another one. So only 3,400 miles on the first one. It's just part of their fleet. They have to update it each year and everything. I don't know the specifics of why, but yeah, basically they just had to give me another car for now. So yeah, back in a brand new 8 Series. That's got 190 miles on the clock, all lovely and fresh. Nice new interior, different colour. That'll be posted up later today on social media.
Sure, yeah.
No, it's cool. I think we've got some interesting things planned. Obviously for BMW, 2021 and 2022 are going to be quite exciting years, both in motorsports and the road car as well. The new M3's coming out, new M4's coming out, the M5 CS, that'll be out soon as well. And then you've got the four-wheel drive versions of the M3 and the M4 as well. And of course, in racing, the new M4 GT3 is coming out as well, which is it's a Larry-looking car. It's designed with the same new grills as the new M4s and M3s, with the racing twist, and it looks pretty cool. So that should be exciting. So
performance-wise, like what do you look for as you're a race driver yourself? What do you look for in a car? Like, obviously, I mean, BMW have given you this car. Did they give you a choice? Did they say you can have any car you want, or did they just say here's a
No, we talked about it. I think what I said to them was, look, I'm a racing driver, obviously, and I'd like to promote your brand in the best way possible. Now, if I get a 1 Series hatchback, it's going to be a very different view to being in a nice saloon sports, and people have that view of it as well, And I've actually been able to generate sales for them. Literally last week, managed to agree a sale with them with the car with a friend of mine through the dealership. So the partnership we have works really well. And yeah, I think we're looking to hopefully continue that into 2021 as well, going forwards for this season.
Yeah. Because I'm looking at the moment. I'm only in the first stages of my thoughts of buying a new car, and BMW has always been in my heart. I love BMW. When my brother's got an E63 AMG,
Lovely. Yeah.
S, I think it's called. I think it is, and it's a lovely car. It's an animal. I think it's 600 odd horsepower. There's a lot of horsepower in that car. And I'm thinking, should I go for Mercedes or should I stick with?
What are you looking for? That's probably the best way to talk about it. What kind of car do you want? What do you need it for?
Well, I'm looking for something that I can take on a track day if I want to, but drive home from work. I'm not too bothered about the fuel economy, because I know the fuel economy at that top end is probably atrocious. I know that E63 is like 9 miles to the gallon or something stupid like that.
They're pretty bad, yeah.
Yeah. But I'm looking for something that's easy to drive, but also quick through the gears. So when I had an older BMW years ago, and I remember, I think second to third there was like a lag or something, but then fourth to fifth, it just took off. It just went, and I'm thinking, I'd like something that goes through the gears nice and strong. You know what I mean? It pushes you back in the chair, and you're moving along the road quite quickly. But you know what I do like? I do like is it the 1 Series M? Not the estate looking one.
M140i.
Yes, I think it's the.
Yeah. Is it a new car?
It's a new car.
So that'll be the M140i. So that is a very quick car. Quite a smaller car, it's a hatchback style car. I actually used to have a 1 Series myself, 118D, fantastic car, one of my favourite cars, just because they're so versatile. They're quick, you can fit loads in them. Great on fuel, obviously the 118D was, but the 140i is really quick. They are, I think, about 330 horsepower stand in a lightweight car, small car. Really nice car to drive as well. Good handling, nice wheelbase.
Yeah, I was thinking something like that just for me, but then I probably wouldn't drive it to work. Well, I'm not driving to work at the moment. I'm working from home, but I guess
a car like that though, you can easily drive that to work though, because the gearbox in them is a 8-speed, and it is quick through all the gears. I've been driving them for the last 5 years now, because all my partnerships through BMW last 4 or 5 years. They're really nice gearboxes. They're definitely not the old style on the E series cars, which were very clunky, very slow. But the F, which is the F20, which is what you're talking about, and even the new G cars, which obviously the new M3, the M4, the new 3 Series as well, are great. And even, the other end of the scale is the new M3 and M4, which is featuring the ZF gearbox. They're fantastic. They're really good. But even the 1 Series ones are really nice. They're really good gearbox.
Yeah. Because I guess the Mercedes, I'm not familiar with the brand too much. I'm more familiar with BMW and their brand. But over the years, I've looked at Mercedes and I'm like, wow, that looks fantastic. That looks. They're a little bit. They look like a saloon car. They are saloon car. They look like a family car, but they're absolute terrorists on the road, man.
It is very untamed. So they're very tricky to drive when you're trying to put the power down, because they're very powerful. As say, the E63 has a 6.3 litre engine, which is very, very torquey, very, very torquey. Whereas I think most of the BMW range, in comparison, uses the 3 litre engine with turbos, which is actually a nice engine. It is not good control. It's got a nice power bank. It's good to control it, and it is quick when you want to go quick. The other advantage as well is, so I took an M4 performance one with a real nice loud exhaust on it, straight from BMW, all the way to Spa, which is about a 1,000-mile trip round in the M4, all the way to Belgium and back. And I think I did 2 tanks of fuel, and that 2.5 tanks of fuel is about 400 miles of fuel, 400 miles per tank.
Yeah.
Which I thought was pretty good for an M4, which has got 420 horsepower. But that 3 litre is the engine in the, I believe it's the engine in the 140i, maybe like a detuned version. But that's a great engine, the 140i.
Yeah.
A friend of mine has one actually.
I was thinking, is it the 140i? I'm just having a quick look now to see. Is it the 140i? Or is it the, because the M2's nice as well, isn't it?
So the M2 is a fantastic car. Actually, with the previous dealership I was with, my teammate in 2019 brought one from the dealership, brought a manual M2 competition because they are just awesome cars. That's a proper driver's car. Much more, I would say it's still a lot more tame compared to an E63, but when you turn the traction control off, they are a bag of fun. Really, really good fun. I was actually doing a day with BMW UK, taking out their guests, doing hot laps around Silverstone. And pretty much every corner, you can get that on the lock stops completely, all the way sideways.
Serious?
Full throttle. Oh, crazy, mate. Yeah, do you know Stowe Corner at Silverstone?
Yes.
The end of the back straight?
Yeah.
So I flicked it in there and went all the way to the lock stops, full power, all the way through the whole thing. No problem at all. Yeah.
Wow.
Awesome cars. Because the thing is, so with the M2 versus the M4, that's always the comparison people make, because the M4 is, everyone sees as the top level, the best car BMW make as an all-round package, speed, performance, economy, everything. But the M2 came out and it was almost too good to be true. It was a little bit smaller, but more fun because of the shorter wheelbase. It's a very similar weight, short wheelbase. And you can feel the shorter wheelbase a lot on track, and it's just so agile. But yeah, that was a bit more, say, untamed than the M4 in my opinion. But the M2 is differently to a 140i. They're fantastic cars. Probably my favourite car from BMW, the M2 competition.
Really, yeah. That's your favourite car, is it?
So. The car I've driven and had the most smiles with. It's you can't beat them on track, especially. I'd love to drive a manual. Actually, I haven't driven a manual before, but I imagine that's really good. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I will look into it. I'm gonna look into it because I think that's definitely a car that I'm interested in buying. I keep coming back to it, and I think I need to have a look at it and see what.
Well, I say if you want a driver's car, a manual M2 competition is the best thing you'll get for money as well. They are fantastic. If you look at the reviews online, they speak for themselves.
Well, I was listening to, what's the guy from Top Gear that's got one?
Chris Harris.
Yeah, Chris Harris. I was going to say Harris Monkey because that's his Instagram name. Yeah. But he's got one, hasn't he?
Yep. And to me, that says it all. Because he's a proper driver. You know, he races GT3 cars with McLaren. He's a very, very good driver. Very good car control as well. And if he's brought one, like, to me, it's makes sense. So.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll tell you what, another thing. This friend of mine that brought one a couple of years ago. Yeah. He's I won't name him, but he's got Porsche GT3, GT3 RS. He's got a Honda BMW S1000 bike. He got all these lovely cars, and he got this M2. And he said to me, to be honest, Ben, it is my favourite car to drive out of all of them. He said, because it is just so much fun. He said, I need a new set of rear tyres soon, but it is so much fun. Yeah. It's the combination of the short wheelbase and the M4 power, because it's got the same engine. The competition has the same engine as the M4. The standard one doesn't. And that was where they hit the nail on the head when they brought the competition out, had the bigger engine. And that was what sent it into a real good kind of market.
How much are they? Do you know? They're about 80 grand, are they, or something like that? Or are they a little bit less than that?
The M4 is about 75 top spec, really 80 top spec. Yeah. So the M2, I would guess 50, 60, something like that.
Wow. Yeah.
Top.
Yeah.
For money, really good things.
Yeah, definitely. I'll definitely look into that, and it's got 4 seats, so my little boy can get in there.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Yeah.
Because I
Well,
mean,
when you're interested, speak to Stephen James BMW in Enfield. Sure, they'll be able to sort you out a deal.
yeah, I mean that's where we bought all our minis from. To be honest.
Oh, brilliant! Cool.
Yeah,
Nice.
that's where we always buy. I've had the new Mini since they came out, the very first one.
Oh, yeah.
I think I'm on my 5th Mini.
Brilliant.
I should start getting sponsorship, shouldn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm on a Countryman at the moment, only because we need to put the pram in and all that. But we've got another car now for the pram and all the family. So what I'm thinking is to get something. I want a classic car. I want another classic car, but I think I need to get something fast and good to drive as a new car as well. So I'll look into that, because I love their stance as well. I love how wide they are as well.
Yeah, they've got a real wide body as well compared to the standard 2 Series as well. The arches will really come out, and I think that's why it appeals to the car guys, because you can see you got the engine, you got the manual gearbox, you got the body kit, the spacing. It looks like a proper car when you buy it at the shop. It doesn't need anything doing to it really. They look fantastic.
Yeah, and I bet you can probably tune them up, can't you, to something like stupid, like 400, 500 brake, 600 brake, easy.
Yeah, it's all on turbos now, so relatively easy with a remap. You can get bundles of power out of them, bundles. But even honestly, standard, they've got more than enough for the time being. I think in my experience, anything more than about 400 horsepower, and you actually struggle to use it on the road, really. Other than for brief seconds where you can really put your foot down, but you can't do anything with more than 400. So, I think when you're around that ballpark, it's a pretty good place to be.
Yeah, it's interesting, because I'd like to know how to control a car if it does, the tail end comes out.
Yeah.
I've seen it many times, and I might, once this lockdown's over, I might come and see you and say to you, right, let's do
we can do a drive. That's what
a couple of classes on. Yeah, definitely, because I did say to you last time, I want to start drifting. I'd love to start doing some, amateur drifting. I don't know what the cheapest option is for that. It's probably like a Mazda or a Nissan, some old Nissan in it, or something.
Mazda is a good way to start. Yeah, Mazda's a good way to start. Quite cheap cars to buy. You put some van tyres on the back and something good on the front, and then you go sideways all day. Caterham as well. You can get relatively cheap Caterhams that are great for drifting as well. Yeah.
Okay, I'll have a look because I want to look at that. And then one of my things on my list to do is to get a beach buggy, one of them, those powerful.
Yeah.
One of them. I want one of them, but I want one for my son and one for me.
All right.
So we can go down to like Pendine or something like that and just race up and down that beach.
That's in that industry, so I'll leave you to that one.
Yeah. Okay, all right. I'm not going to keep you too much longer because we've gone 40 minutes. So I'm gonna. So what training are you doing to keep your reflexes and your brain active for when you do go back on the track?
Mainly simulator training, really. You can do nowadays, with how advanced the technology is, you can do very, very accurate sim training, which is great, really. It's almost as good as real life. There isn't quite the same feeling, but it's almost as good as real life. And I'm doing a lot of fitness training as well, just to try and keep my reflexes there. The other thing is karting, go-karts as well. So I've got a go-kart myself, which it's a gearbox kart, 125 6-speed gearbox. Which is great fun. That's way harder to drive than any car I'll ever drive. So that's really good for keeping your reflexes sharp and keeping yourself driving and keeping your reflexes up. And that's really good. I've actually also brought a couple of go-karts as well in the last few months that I'm going to hopefully do some experience days with, because I noticed in the last couple of years, a lot of drivers nowadays, like professionals like myself, will try and get their eye in pre-season in karts when it's too cold to test in a race car, but they can go and spend a couple £100 hire a cart out, have a mechanic, and do a very similar thing, you know, on a kart track.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's something I'm going to do while work's still pretty dry at the moment, obviously with the lockdown. I've been tinkering with the carts as well, get them running nicely, and yeah, when it all opens up, hopefully we'll do a few days there as well. I've got some people lined up already for a bit of karting.
Yeah. That sounds amazing. Okay, so what's your goals for 2021 then, COVID permitting?
Well, very similar to last year. I want to go and win the championship. I came fourth in the series last year. I was best junior, and that wasn't the result I wanted. I was right up to third until the last race of the year, where I got had contact, didn't finish. So yeah, the aim is to be winning next year, at least top three. It needs to be top three. But I'm confident, you know, with the experience I've now got. I know Germany and Europe racing now a lot more, and I've got some experience at some of the tracks as well. Every track was new to me last year, apart from Spa, and obviously that was the one I won at. So yeah, now I've got some experience at tracks. I'm sure I can develop a little bit more and go a little bit quicker next year.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, mate. All right. Well, look. I'll let you go. Thanks again for your time today. Have a look at Ben. So it's Ben Green Racing on Instagram.
On Instagram.
Sorry,
Ben Green
say that again. You're breaking up.
Ben Green 2. Green 2.
Ben Green 2 on Instagram. Where else can they find you?
BenGreenRacing.com on the website. Ben Green Racing on Facebook, and Ben_Green22 on Twitter. Although I'm not really a Twitter person, but yeah, I'm more on Instagram and on the on website, to be honest.
Okay, cool. Okay, all right. Well, look, cool. As ever, it's been a pleasure. We'll catch up maybe in a few months' time, hopefully when lockdown's over, and possibly we could do this face to face and look around. Definitely. Yeah, that'd be fantastic. Yeah, but take care of yourself. Have a good day. Good luck with the move. All right.
Yes. Cheers. Thank you.
All right. Take care. See you, man. Take care. Bye.